Hi, my name is Jay Wilson from Onyx Reporting, and in this webinar I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you can use Jet Enterprise to migrate data from old nav to new nav in a matter of hours. Actually, if I were being completely honest, we're not going to be migrating data from old nav and new nav. What we're really going to do is we're going to integrate data from old nav and to new nav in a matter of hours. I think that would be the most accurate description of what we're going to do. The general premise that we have is, I've got my company, and we've had nav for a couple years. We've had nav 2009, and now it's time to upgrade to nav 2015. I think a lot of customers will recognize, or a lot of users will recognize this problem. The million-dollar question is, okay, how do we handle data migration? Do I move all of my data from old nav into new nav? Do I just move beginning balances? How much work is that going to be? Right? There's a whole can of worms. But what if we use Jet Enterprise to do what it's supposed to do? What if we use Jet Enterprise to integrate two different databases so that I don't have to do the data migration in new nav? Speaking of our Jet Enterprise environment, let's say I've got Jet Nav 2009 project. It's got some customizations done. And again, I need to figure out, well, how am I going to integrate the data from the Nav 2015? Because in my Nav 2009 Enterprise project, I've got all these customizations done, and I don't want to recreate them. I hope you're keeping up with the train of thought here. Our solution ultimately is going to be we're going to leverage external business units. We're going to have two Jet Enterprise projects running. We're going to have the Jet 2009 project, and we're going to have the Jet 2015 project. And what we're going to do is we're going to move the data from 2015 into the 2009 project because we've done all the customizations in 2009. All right, let's get to it. Over here on the right, I've got the NAV 2015 project, the new project. And you can see I've got all of the stock customizations in place, but I don't want to create the new customizations that are required for the way my company works. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to the NAV 2009 project. Okay. Now here's my NAV 2009 project. You can see just from the data sources, I've integrated data from a data source called addresses. I have customizations in here. And as I said in my initial premise, we don't want to have to recreate those customizations. So what are we going to do? Under business units, we're going to right-click. We're going to add an external business unit. We're going to grab the business unit from the NAV 2015 project. Now, because hypothetically I could make changes to the NAV 2015 project, I do have the option of synchronizing the external business unit. Notice it asks me which version of the business unit do I want to pull in. I'll always synchronize the latest. Okay, so now in my Jet Enterprise 2009 project, I have business units for both 2009 and 2015. And as I expand the node for 2015, you can see, okay, I've got a staging database for NAV 2015. And all I have to do is synchronize these 2015 tables with my data warehouse. If we look at an easy one, if we look at posted sales, actually posted sales is not an easy one. Who am I kidding? Let's look at the field sales amount. In our posted sales transactions fact table in the 2009 project, it consists of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly more tables. So what I have to do is I have to say, okay, I need to synchronize these tables from my 2015 data source as well. So I'll say, okay, let's go find the value entry. And let's do sales invoice line. Alright. Okay. So I'm just going to do 2 of the tables. I would have to do, 5. But basically what I'll say is, okay, I'm just going to drag and drop sales invoice line and sync it with posted sales transactions, and I'm going to choose to only synchronize the existing fields. So any field that has the same name in the sales invoice line business unit from 2015 is going to synchronize in my data warehouse. And if I expand the type node, we can see, yep, there it is. There's the 2015 sales invoice line. Only 1, 2, 3, only 7 more to go. Now under sales amount, even though sales invoice line does have a field called sales amount LCY, right, it obviously didn't sync because the field name changed, so I would have to go back and add this guy manually. And now I've got one of the 5 other fields that I need to add to the data warehouse. I'll do the exact same thing for value entry. I'll say, okay, value entry, sync your fact table with posted sales. Sync only existing fields. And again, if I look at the company node, right, company node is the field DW account. So obviously those fields did not sync. I'd have to say, oh yeah, let me add DW account from the value entry, and I probably should have grabbed DW account from the sales invoice line in order to create that data node. At the end of the day, this process is, sure, it's a bit tedious. I'll give you that. But we avoid having to do data migration from one ERP into another ERP. We just use the data warehouse. Going forward, we'll just use the data warehouse as our reporting data source, and then in our data warehouse, we'll have that span of the history of time. Now, the only place this falls apart is potentially with, let's say, the GL account. If you change your GL account in 2009 to 2015, you update it, you change what accounts meet what, right? Then you're going to have to do some modifications in your data warehouse, staging. You'd have to do some customizations in your project to say which GL account in 2009 matched to this GL account in 2015, right? You would have to do that update process. In any event, in this webinar, what we took a look at is we looked at integrating data from old nav and new nav into the same data warehouse. And we did that by leveraging external business units from 2 different nav projects. My name is Jay Wilson. If you have any other questions about this project or process, please reach out to me at jae@onyxreporting.com. Thanks so much. Cheers, guys.